Coming up on TCTV News, is commercial space travel worth the risk? Virgin Galactic owner Richard Branson speaks out. The Glenn Miller Orchestra comes to Teal.
What exactly caused the Brad Keselowski and Jeff Gordon NASCAR brawl? And there might be a new fraternity joining Teal's campus. The news starts now.
You're watching TCTV News, your only source for news and entertainment on campus.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to TCTV News. I'm Taylor Runser.
And I'm Colin Vitale. A contracting supply delivery man died while distributing drywall to a construction site in New Jersey. Gary Anderson was walking up to workers in the construction site when a tape measure falling 50 stories struck him in the head. Apparently, the tape measure dislodged from a worker's belt while he was working on the building. According to police report, Anderson was not wearing a hard hat. Workers were cleared from the construction site while an investigation took place, but returned later that day. Greek organizations have a big presence on Teal College's campus. Almost 1/3 of the entire student body is a member of a Greek organization. Now, another fraternity, Iota Phi Theta, is trying to make its way into the ranks. TCTV has the scoop.
Hi, I'm Christian Kafka. I'm here with Thanu. How are you doing today?
Doing well, Christian. Thanks.
Not a problem. I've been hearing about, and everyone else has been hearing about, a new fraternity that's possibly going to be joining campus. Thanu, would you be able to tell us more about that?
Sure. It's Iota Phi Theta. They are looking to start a chapter on our campus, and this has been in the works for a while. We were contacted a couple of years ago, and we kind of lost track of what was going on. And this past year, they submitted their information again. And Teal College does have an expansion policy for new fraternities and sororities that are interested in colonizing. So myself and Vice President McKinney have been working with them to get all the information we need. They've submitted that, and now we're at the step where they need to actually come on campus and present to various members, including the fraternities and sororities, members at large, faculty and staff. And if they do become a full chapter on our campus, then they would fall under the Interfraternity Council, which you're a part of, being a member of a fraternity. And so ultimately they are the ones who decide whether or not we will be able to sustain another chapter on a campus.
Cool. You said before about them being like a Divine Nine. Would you mind telling us a little bit about what the Divine Nine?
Sure. The Divine Nine, 9 historically black fraternities and sororities. They were, started as early as 1907. They include some of the more recognizable ones are Alpha Kappa Alpha Incorporated, Kappa Alpha Psi. They're really big on larger campuses and historically black fraternities and historically black colleges and universities. And Iota Phi Theta is one of them. So having them on campus, would be great for us as well. So that is basically what the Divine Nine is in terms of their history.
All right, that is then. I'm Christian Kafka. Thanks for having me. Back to you.
Thanks, Christian.
A man doing a good deed could be charged after he helped feed homeless people in a South Florida park. Arnold Abbott, who is 90 years old, had 4 plates of food that he handed out to homeless people before the police stopped him. There were 2 other pastors that have been charged due to the city's new ordinance banning public food sharing. In 1999, Abbott had a similar run-in with the law, but sued the city for banning him to serve food to the homeless on the beach in Fort Lauderdale. However, Abbott won the case in 1999, and for his current situation, he stated that being charged for what he did is not going to stop him from helping the homeless. Days after Virgin Galactic Spaceship 2 disintegrated above California, killing one of its co-pilots, Virgin founder Richard Branson says making commercial space travel a reality is worth the risks involved. The accident killed co-pilot Michael Tyner Alsbury and injured his partner, pilot Peter Seibold, who managed to parachute to the ground. When asked in light of the accident, Branson stood by his comment on the space program, unless you risk something, the world stands still. Branson said, "Our prayers go out to Mike and his family."
The cost of fighting climate change may keep climbing if industrialized nations don't take the steps to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, the United Nations panel warned Sunday in their wrap-up report. If left unchecked, climate change will increase the likelihood of severe, pervasive, and irreversible impacts for people and ecosystems, the report said. The warning continued with, quote, "Leaders must act. Time is not on our side." A UN official said previous rounds of talks have been strained by disputes between the biggest emitters, China, the United States, and European countries, and the poorer countries whose populations could see the worst impact first. An Australian man who attempted to surf on a floating whale carcass surrounded by sharks has admitted that he is an, quote, idiot to attempt the daring stunt. Harrison Williams was on a boating excursion with friends off the coast of Western Australia over the weekend when they came across the dead whale in the water. He launched himself into the water and clambered onto the whale's body. What he did not realize is that there were 5 sharks in the water feeding on the carcass. Williams was able to get away unscathed and said, "I've done it. I don't need to do it again."
A primary advocate of the Death with Dignity Act, Brittany Maynard, committed suicide at her home in Portland on Saturday. Maynard recently learned last spring that she had stage 4 terminal cancer and was given 6 months to live. Maynard made herself known when she announced that she would die under the state's Death with Dignity Act by overdosing on prescription medication when she would no longer withstand the pain. In the past few weeks, Maynard started online campaigns to get the Death with Dignity Act in more states across the country. For people to argue against this choice for sick people really seems evil to me, Maynard told People magazine. They try to mix it up with a suicide, and that's really unfair because there's not a single part of me that wants to die, but I am dying. A key suspect in the Natalie Holloway disappearance, Joran Vandersloot, suffered serious injuries in prison on Monday. Vandersloot's wife and his lawyer told the press that he was stabbed twice by inmates in the shoulder and the waist, something the officials at the Peruvian prison Vandersloot was held at are denying. Vandersloot's wife claimed that she visited him on Sunday and smuggled out a bloody shirt as evidence of the stabbing. Vandersloot's attorney claims that the facility detaining him has very poor conditions, and he believes that if a high-priority figure like Vandersloot were to die there, the prison would be shut down.
Police in California have made multiple arrests regarding a deadly hit-and-run accident last Friday during Halloween. The crash took the lives of 3 teens, Lexi and Lexandra Perez Huerta and Andrea Gonzalez, during their time trick-or-treating. After reaching out to the community, police made arrests within 48 hours of the incident and have detained 5 different suspects for questioning. According to the local news, police found fingerprints and DNA evidence from the suspect's car that points to the 2 men in question. A series of tape recordings regarding the no-fly zone put in place by police in Ferguson, Missouri during the weeks of protest in August has recently been released. The recordings show that Ferguson Police Department acknowledged that the purpose of the ordinance was to, in fact, keep media away from covering the violence in the streets. The no-fly zone granted by the U.S. government restricted more than 37 square miles of airspace for a total of 12 days in August for safety reasons, local authorities claimed. Multiple riots broke out in the streets after local teen Michael Brown was gunned down by Ferguson police officer Darian Wilson on August 9th.
Now, a 10-year-old boy is charged in the murder of a 90-year-old woman. Tristan Carilla, who was recently sentenced to prison for murdering the elderly woman. Carilla, a Damascus Township, Pennsylvania, was visiting his grandfather when he says he tried to ask Helen Novak, a woman under his grandfather's care, a question, but she yelled at him and told him to leave her alone. He says after that he lost his temper and beat her to death. He will be charged as an adult in court. In another unfortunate story, this past Saturday on the 400 block of Hummel Street in Harrisburg, PA, 17-year-old Winston McCulloch Jr. was accidentally shot by 19-year-old Jabbar Creamer when the two found a handgun. The boys were playing around with the gun when Creamer unintentionally pulled the trigger. Creamer is now facing time in jail for manslaughter after McCulloch passed away. The neighborhood is setting up a memorial for McCulloch where he was killed. Creamer will also be charged for tampering with evidence.
One trick-or-treater was feeling the Halloween spirit in all the wrong ways this holiday. Over the Halloween weekend, a zombie masked thief terrorized local businesses in Lancaster, PA. Police in Lancaster are looking for a man who recently robbed a pizza shop at gunpoint while wearing his costume. His target was the Little Caesars restaurant on the 1600 block of Route 426. If you see the man matching this description in that area, police advise you to call 911. He is considered armed and dangerous. The robber has yet to hurt anyone, but he has successfully escaped with cash in hand. A mother calls 911 to tell them she's thrown her son off a bridge. Jillian McCabe from Newport, Oregon was seen on YouTube just about a year ago posting happy home movies of her 6-year-old son, London. He was holding a stuffed lion while tossing coins into a fountain to make a wish, while her husband Matt was lying in a hospital bed talking about his sudden medical struggles. Monday was a tragic day when the 34-year-old woman said she carried her son to the middle of the bridge and threw him to his death in the water below. She called 911 shortly after to tell them what she had done. The reason why she did it is still unknown, but she will most likely face the death penalty according to legal sources.
Pennsylvania authorities say Greenville's own Dennis Bealey is facing legal action for nearly starving his grandson. He appeared in court Tuesday to face 14 charges, including aggravated assault, false imprisonment, and attempted first-degree murder. His wife Deanna and stepdaughter Mary Rader has also been charged with participating in torturing and nearly killing the 7-year-old boy. Authorities report the family sending notes to the grandson's school asking them not to feed the child, who was pulled out of classes in August of 2013 when he weighed less than 25 pounds. He was rescued in June after authorities received anonymous tips about the boy's living conditions. The family will be charged altogether with attempted first-degree murder and other charges.
We've had some wacky weather these past few days. What's in store next, Ronell?
Well, we all know the famous song Lil Wayne said, "He makes it rain." We're going to have some rain coming. A lot of rain coming for about 4 out of 5 out of 7 days, but no need to worry. We're still going to have some good weather. We're going to have about mid to high 40s all throughout the week, dropping to the lowest about 28 degrees, so just make sure you have your hoodies. I will give you more of that later on in the newscast. Just stay tuned.
Thanks, Ronell. Now stay tuned to see what's happening in the entertainment world with Trent after the break. We'll be right back.
Only 10% of us get enough daily exercise.
And that number is dropping.
Nearly 30% of us are overweight or obese.
As a result, we now have a shorter life expectancy than our parents.
But give us the right start in sports, and we'll never stop.
Learn how at activeforlife.ca.
Hello, I'm Trent Kiesling, and welcome to this edition of Entertainment News. If there is something still strange in your neighborhood, looks like you can still call on the Ghostbusters. 30 years later, the cast reunited for this week's EW's annual reunion issue. Revisiting the iconic 1984 film's legacy, for the cover shoot, they brought the crew together as they shared memories of the film, especially about the ectoplasmic goo. The cast has spent the last few months exploring the Ghostbuster film sites that both movies featured and even toured some of the famous locations. The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 final trailer released a brand new clip showing a pivotal moment for Katniss in the movie. The video, which is set to be debuted on ABC's Good Morning America, Katniss discovered that Peeta is still alive. The two were separated at the end of the quarter quell in Catching Fire, but Katniss finally sees Peeta again as he appears in the televised Capitol statement. The world awaits of the release of the newest movie. The Glenn Miller Orchestra will be giving a special performance here at Teal next month. Reporter Marianne Elder has more.
Have you ever wanted to take a slice out of American history? Well, folks, you just might be able to. The world-famous Glenn Miller Orchestra will swing into Teal College on December 2nd. If you're unfamiliar with this big band 1940s-style swing-era music, here's just a glimpse of what the 18-member big band sounds like. The Glenn Miller Band became extremely popular during the swing era and remains one of the most sought-after big bands in the world. Tickets for the concert are now on sale through the Teal College Music Department and are available at Mark's Music Store in Hermitage, PA. Ticket prices are $20 general admission and $15 for students and senior citizens. The Greenville High School Steel Drum Band will provide an opening performance at 7:30 p.m. and the Glenn Miller Orchestra will take stage at 8 p.m. This is Marianne Elder, back to the desk.
Thanks, Marianne. Taylor Swift has decided to remove her music from Spotify. The only song of hers remaining on the service is Safe and Sound from the Hunger Games soundtrack. Spotify posted, quote, "We hope she will change her mind and join us in building a new music economy that works for everyone," end quote. Swift refused to allow her 2012 album, Red, on Spotify when it first debuted, but it later appeared for Spotify users to enjoy. Her most recent release, 1989, never appeared on Spotify. The artist has also been vocal about her thoughts on music sharing. After a controversy over topless photos in May, Rihanna's Instagram feed went quiet for quite a few months, but she popped back up recently on Sunday, posting 2 shots in quick succession. Her sudden reappearance prompted a torrent of likes and tens of thousands of comments, many of them celebrating her return. Some of her previous posts had sparked outcries in places as far-flung as Abu Dhabi and Thailand. Is the pop star now going to tread more carefully with their future posts? Something tells us we should not hold our breath. Rap musician Marion Suge Knight will post bail and return to California after he was hospitalized in Las Vegas for a blood clot in his chest. His attorney said Monday that he has to face a robbery charge after treating his chest problems that were discovered while he fell in jail. A judge set bail for $75,000 for Knight after he was being treated with a bruise on the back of his head and neck after falling against a metal post while doctors checked him in jail on Thursday. His attorney traced Knight's medical problems to 6 bullet wounds in August, 24 hours after the shooting at the West Hollywood Club. Legendary fashion designer Oscar de la Renta's funeral was held last Monday. De la Renta died on October 20th at his Connecticut home at the age of 82. Lots of well-known celebrities attended the funeral last Monday. Hugh Jackman, Barbara Walters, Michael Kors, and Tommy Hilfiger were among those who were at the Church of St. Ignatius Loyola on Manhattan's Upper East Side. The Dominican-born designer De La Renta was admired by lots of Hollywood luminaries of the fashion and entertainment worlds, especially on the red carpets. He will truly be missed. One of the most loved in entertainment kids movies is coming back to theaters. A new movie trailer for Minions movie is hitting the theaters, and this time the producers are looking to set world records with the movie. For the first time, producers of Despicable Me are coming out with a movie all about the Minions. But the producers are not the only ones excited about the movie. Some adults are just as excited for this kids movie as well. The movie is set to hit theaters in July of 2015, so keep an eye out for it. That's all we have for entertainment today. Stay tuned for sports after the break.
Leave me alone.
When a child shares hurtful comments online, that's bullying. Visit erasebullying.ca to learn how to help your child stand up to cyberbullying.
Look around you. 1 in 4 kids in the U.S. faces hunger. It's not always easy to see the signs. But in this land of plenty, there are kids that don't know where they will get their next meal. Join Share Our Strength in Food Network and take the pledge to end childhood hunger here in America by 2015. Learn how at NoKidHungry.org. Their next meal could come from you.
Good evening, Tomcats, and welcome to TCTV Sports. I'm Paul Connolly. The Chicago Cubs are starting on a strong note for this upcoming offseason after welcoming former Tampa Bay Rays manager Joe Maddon to join their club. Maddon was introduced to the Cubs on Monday as their 5th manager since the start of the 2010 season. According to reports, Maddon's contract is a 5-year deal worth $25 million with incentives and does not include an opt-out clause through the 2019 season. The plan was to bring back Rick Renteria until Maddon opted out of his contract with the Rays last month. Joe Maddon coached the Bay Rays for 9 seasons, leading the club to 4 playoff appearances, 2 AL East titles, and a loss in the 2008 World Series against Philadelphia. Things got ugly after the race this past Sunday at Texas Motor Speedway, and Brad Keselowski created another enemy in the sprint car chase. Jeff Gordon's shot at a huge playoff victory got wiped away after a spin-out created by Keselowski during the extra laps of the race. Gordon was leading on the restart of lap 335 on the outside line when he drifted up a tiny bit, and Keselowski pushed through the gap before the contract, which created a blown tire that caused Gordon to spin out. After the race, it created a crew member brawl, which includes Kevin Harvick pushing Brad Keselowski. The four-time champion stated, "It's his disregard for what's going on out there. He made an over-aggressive move. Those are moves you find if you've got a slamming, banging race. He cut my left rear tire. That was it for me. It's a real shame." Look to see if Jeff Gordon can rebound from this incident and get his 5th championship with 2 races left in the chase at Phoenix International Speedway and Homestead Miami Speedway. Chris Bosh's NBA season is off to a good start without LeBron James. The Miami Heat forward has been filling in that go-to role as James returns to Cleveland, and Bosh averages 23.8 points per game so far. Bosh said, "I feel like I'm a much better player and a much better leader." With the NBA season just tipping off, look to see if Bosh has the capability to be the leader everyone feels he should be. Everyone across the country was looking forward to a great game between arguably the 2 best quarterbacks in the NFL when Peyton Manning and Tom Brady squared off on Sunday. Unfortunately, the results weren't close at all as Brady outplayed Manning and the Patriots won 43-21 over the Broncos. Manning's response after the game was, "I stunk." Tom Brady had 333 passing yards with 4 touchdowns and only 1 interception. This is Brady's first interception in 5 games. Manning had 438 passing yards with 2 touchdowns and 2 picks. The Division I men's college basketball AP preseason All-American team has been announced. Jahlil Okafor for Duke has become the 3rd freshman in the past 5 years to be named to the preseason All-American team. Okafor was considered by many to be the #1 prospect this year. The rest of the team consists of UNC's Marcus Page, Wisconsin's Frank Kaminsky, Louisville's Montrezl Harrell, and Wichita State's Fred VanVleet. FIFA is inching closer to moving the dates of the 2022 FIFA World Cup to be played in Qatar. Normally, the World Cup is during the months of June and July, but because of extreme heat in Qatar in the summer, FIFA is targeting 2 different possible dates. The first plan is to move the dates to the months of January and February, and the second option is in the months of November and December. The FIFA panel will meet again early next year to try and figure out a definite date for the 2022 World Cup. Britain's Andy Murray has won 3 titles in the past 6 weeks to qualify for the Whiteman season-ending tournament starting November 9th through the 16th. Murray will open play at the O2 at 2 o'clock on Sunday against Japan's Kai Nishikori, followed by Roger Federer against Canada's Marin Cilic. Murray has avoided defending champion top seed Novak Djokovic, who beat him at Paris Masters last week to end his 11-match winning run. But Murray has been drawn in the same group as Federer for the ATP World Tour Finals in London. Murray has won 11 and lost 11 of his career meetings with Federer. The Godolphin Horse Cavalryman is a late injury doubt for the Melbourne Cup at Flemington on Tuesday. Trained in Newmarket by Saeed bin Sarur, the 8-year-old horse has a swollen fetlock and will be examined by vets before the big race. Cavalryman was rated a 20-to-1 chance after group wins at Maiden, Newmarket, and Goodwood this year. European hopes in the race include German Raider Protectionist, with a total of 23 set to line up for the showdown after Seamoon's withdrawal. Roger Varian, John Gosden, and Marco Botti are the others looking to become the first British trained winner of the race. That does it for sports. After the break, we have Ronell with the weather. We'll be right back.
Only 10% of us get enough daily exercise.
And that number is dropping.
Nearly 30% of us are overweight or obese.
As a result, we now have a shorter life expectancy than our parents.
But give us the right start in sports, and we'll never stop.
Learn how at activeforlife.ca.
Hi, thank you for tuning in to TCTV News. I am Ronell Hunt. I'll be bringing you your weather for today. We're going to look right over here into that western area right in Seattle. We're going to be ranging around 56 degrees for anyone living in Seattle. If you guys are down there in Las Vegas, 64, pretty chilly for Vegas, usually looking for higher temperatures. Phoenix in our 76 areas. As we come over Miami, we're always sitting pretty there with about 78 degrees or so. Looking pretty nice. We're around that Youngstown area. We're going to be hitting around 56 degrees. So make sure you have some type of, long sleeve shirt just in case it drops down a little bit chillier. All right, over to our humidity. Ashtabula, we're looking 37% humidity. Youngstown, 44%. We're going to be going up a little bit more than Ashtabula, but the main thing that really caught my eye right there is 63% humidity for Erie. Looks like you're going to need a ShamWow to kind of soak yourself off, dry yourself off. You're going to be getting a little bit of sweat right on in that area. Right on over to our winds for today. We see as Cleveland, as we're looking, going to be having some wind about 18 miles per hour coming from the west-southwest area. Looking at Webster right there, west-southwest as well, around that whole area about that southwestern. Going to be swinging our way, looking at about 11 miles per hour, 10 all the way up to 18. Focusing right there on Youngstown. Western is going to be coming from our west, about 16 miles per hour. Make sure you have a hoodie, anything to keep you bundled up from that wind. All right, let's see what's right on outside of our window. We see right there in Newton Falls, we're going to be ranging around 54 degrees or so. About North Benton, 57 degrees. We're going to be ranging all the way around that whole area, 53, 54, ranging in the mid-50s or so. Same thing with Youngstown. We're looking pretty good. Just like I said, it's going to be a beautiful day. We're going to be ranging about mid-50s all the way around the border. All right, now over to our 7-day forecast. As we can see all the way along that whole border right there, we have Wednesday, 57 degrees as our high, dropping a little bit on Thursday, 52, 10 degrees dropping before that. We're going to be getting some snow over this next weekend, Thursday through Sunday. We're going to be getting rain, Thursday through Sunday, going to be getting rain, around 42, 44 degrees, all the way around 40s, swinging right on into Monday and Tuesday, the beginning of next week. It's going to clear up, partly cloudy, lows of 30s on both days with a high of 44. That is all for your TCTV News weather. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Ronell. Before we wrap things up, a story of an Eastlake, Ohio tattoo artist paying it forward. Greg Chadwick, a tattoo artist at Ironclad Tattoos, came forward to give a little boy's family a great offer. Talon Rowan suffers from a disorder which causes flat spots to form on his head. He must wear a helmet 23 hours a day for the next 7 months.
Talon's family posted an ad online looking for an artist to customize Talon's helmet. When Chadwick came across the ad, he offered to do the helmet for them for no charge at all. Chadwick turned little Talon's helmet into an aviator's helmet, complete with glasses on the front and his name on the back, completely free of charge. Chadwick stated he contacted the family saying he would do it for free of charge and by telling the family to just pay it forward or do something nice for somebody down the road when they could. The family cannot thank Greg enough. That's all we've got for TCTV News. I'm Taylor Runser.
And I'm Colin Vitale. Make it a good one, Tomcats.
You've been watching TCTV News, your only source for news and entertainment on campus.